Good morning.
Would you like to introduce yourself?
Yes, thank you. I am officially Katie Cridland. It's an easy question to ask, not so easy to answer because I've recently got married and I still, thank you very much, I still use my maiden name for work, but my married name for everything else.
So does that make you a movie star?
No, it just makes life very complicated. It is just very complicated. Yes. I should
what's your professional name?
So my professional name is Katie Ede, which I should be used to, obviously, because I've had the surname Ede for 50 years, but my mother is the same. So at work, she is Sue Ede, but is married to somebody else, so has a completely different surname personally. So I should be used to the concept by now, but to actually suddenly then have to put yourself into that situation, it does get a little bit confusing every now and then.
But why don't you change everything just over to your married name?
Work-wise, it sounds weird, but Ede is a trademark. It is. If I walk into work and say Sue Hodder, which is my mother's married name, everyone would go, who? Whereas if I go in and say Sue Ede, everyone goes, oh, yeah, okay, fine. And it will be the same. So if I walked into work and went, I'm Kate Cridland, everyone would go, are you new? No, I'm still the same person. So it is just a trademark.
But in Burnham, you're both mum and you are known very well as Kate Ede and Sue Ede.
Yeah.
If you said that to most people, they'd know who you both were.
Absolutely. As was my dad. My dad was well known in Burnham as well. He was a mayor at one point, and so everybody knew Jim Ede or Sue Ede. And so growing up was a nightmare. I could never get away with anything because everybody knew my parents. And so Ede is just one of those names that will stick. You can go to an antique fair or a flea market in Scotland and say, have you heard of Sue Ede? And they'll go, yes, we have. So, but I go to work and I am also known as Sue Ede because my parents are now 80 and still working, but are doing less and less. But there is that void that I have now filled. So people then just go, oh, you're Sue Ede, aren't you? And I go, yes, I am. So,
just easier.
Yeah. So it is. So would you like to introduce yourself is a really easy question, but actually quite a difficult answer because there are.
So do you want to say what you do for a living so they kind of stitches everything together?
Yes. So I work in a family business where we organise antique fairs, flea markets, decorative fairs all over the country. We do high-end antique fairs where we go to Yorkshire, Chester, Buxton, Western Burt. We organise decorative fair in Bath, and then we organise the flea markets, which are the complete opposite end of everything, at Shepton Mallet, where we do them 7 times a year.
So what's a decorative market? Because I have no idea.
Decorative is just, so antiques are older things and is a whole plethora of different items. Decorative are your more decorative items. So they can be, they don't have to be old, they can be relatively new, but they're more on the decorative side rather than the traditional furniture type of side.
And why only one a year?
That's all we've ever done. It's all there's ever been. It's not a busy market either. The decorative fairs, I mean, in London, they're huge, and around the rest of the country, they are huge. But we've only ever just done one at Bath, and it works. So it's not broken. We don't fix it.
So how many markets do you do throughout the course of the year?
Gosh, we do.
Roughly. I'm not going to hold you to it.
We do 20, 25, 20, I would have said.
Wow. It's quite a big number then, really.
Yeah, there's not a month that goes by that we're not running between sort of 2 events. So Shepton we do 7 times a year, and that's definitely our biggest one.
You did the toy one, wasn't it, a couple of weeks ago? Was it?
No, that's somebody else.
Is it?
Yeah. Again, really good fairs. The Bulldog fairs are really good fairs for the toy market. But we do 7 flea markets at Shepton Mallet. We do 3 at Harrogate, 1 at Chester, 1 at Buxton, 3 at Western Burt, and 1 at Bath. So it's a good little busy company.
It's a big number, isn't it? Yeah, when you
Yeah.
think about how much organisation goes into that and the marketing and everything.
Yeah.
And how many stallholders you have?
Yeah, we have about 400 at Shepton.
Wow.
Yeah, we have. And they sell everything, absolutely everything and anything.
I love it.
It's a bonkers fair. You can literally buy absolutely anything and everything. So we have inside, we have 200 stalls where you can buy antiques, you can buy jewellery, you can buy books, you can buy records, you can buy sweets, we have a really lovely olive man who comes from London who sells all sort of different olives and the sweet desserts and all that sort of thing. So you can literally buy anything. And then outside, we tend to have more furniture dealers, gardenalia dealers, and then
Gardenalia, I've never heard of that word.
Yeah, just stuff for your
Are you sure
garden.
that's not a stuff that a word that you've made up?
Yeah, it might be. Yeah, but yeah, just everything. I mean, I've seen old sort of stuffed animal heads going out, which
Oh, don't go in my tack room then.
yes, that's fine. And then I've seen a stand that has nothing but prosthetic arms and legs and false teeth and just
Weird things.
anything. Yeah, anything goes at them.
Do they actually sell those things though? Or
Oh,
do
yeah.
they do?
Yeah. People
And they make
that-
money out of it.
Yeah, people that specialize in that sort of thing, people that upcycle, people buy everything. Yeah. But the best part of the job, once it's all done and dusted and everybody's in and everybody's doing what they need to be doing, is standing at the gate and watching all the
crap
things that
that
are
people
going out. Because you stand there and you think, why in God's name would you want that? But it is that thing of one man's meat is another man's poison, isn't it? It's, you look at it and you think, wow, what are you going to do with that?
Did the car boot market take away a lot of your business, or has it enhanced it in a sense?
No, car boots are completely different.
Yeah.
Completely different. It's a bit like the difference between a hairdresser's and a barber's. They are two completely separate entities. Car boots are lovely, and the one up the road is amazing to go to, but flea markets are completely different. So we have like the inside as well as the outside. It costs more, so we tend to get sort of a bit higher up things.
Yeah. So that you go to your car boot for your tat.
No, no, I didn't say that.
I mean, I love it. I love a market. I love a car boot sale. I always have done, even from when I was like little. I used to love going to the little man next, like round the corner, and he had all this rubbish outside that you saw. People would see it as rubbish. I just loved it.
It's the excitement of the unknown, isn't it?
Yeah.
You walk around and finding something that is exciting to you or interesting to you might not be to somebody else, but it's that excitement of finding something lovely that you want. And also the joy of bringing it home and integrating it into everything that you have at home. It's lovely. The best thing about Christmas is always the shopping, isn't it? It's never the getting stuff, because you look at it and think, oh God, where am I going to put that? But it is the joy of shopping and giving people things. It is the excitement of finding everything that everybody wants.
We had a discussion, didn't we, a few months ago when we were talking about, because we've got another house. We're just building a house at the moment, and we had a discussion about old furniture and antique furniture and stuff like that in a new property. Mike had this whole discussion with me. Oh, you can't put that old furniture in there; it just won't look right. And then you went to see a house, didn't you? And it had lots of really lovely, nice old furniture, and it was a very modern house, and it completely changed your view, didn't it?
It did, yeah. It was quite interesting actually, and it's quite funny how you can go to some shops now, some of the big sort of high street furniture shops, and they're selling furniture that it's brand new, but it's been made to look really old.
Yeah.
I mean, it's basically cardboard. It looks old, and you think, wow, actually, I can kind of get that now. I don't know if that's because I've hit a certain age where old furniture appeals, but yeah, it's really interesting.
I think also the joy of the society that we now live in is that our generation, I'm not including her in this, but our generation.
He's not 50.
I was going to say, I'm not 50.
You're nearer his age than you are mine.
There you go. See? No, probably not.
He's how old are you now?
33.
Yeah, see, now the closer to you.
We're probably middle 33. We're about
I'm 51.
half.
Yeah. But anyway,
whatever you want me to be
27 plus a little bit. I think the joy of the age where we live now is that you can go to places and buy cheaper furniture that's made to look old, which is then a really good stepping stone into buying older, more expensive furniture. So you do get that sort of throwaway furniture where you can go and have a look at it, live with it for a while, see if you like it before you go on and then buy something more expensive, because you do.
But I absolutely detest things being thrown away. I could be a hoarder, but I'm not. I won't allow myself saying that, looking at all the stuff.
I was just about to say, is that
no, hold on. I do not own any of the CDs up there. The photographs are mine. The basket and the box is the children's. The books are mine.
This is not hoarding.
No.
This is just living.
Yes, I know that. But my children.
This is just living.
No, hold on a minute. You've got to go to his house, because his previous house was you had loads of stuff in your house. You did. You just don't see it. And I think sometimes
boxes to move is a bit different.
No. When your house was set up before you moved, you had lots of your own personal things, and I think it's important to have that. It makes it your home, doesn't it? It doesn't make it.
We are the complete opposite, because at this precise moment in time, we have a skip outside of our house.
Oh, I love a skip.
And we are just throwing.
That breaks my
throwing. I'm so sorry.
Don't throw clothes away. We'll have them for the charity.
No, it's fine. I wouldn't throw clothes away. I don't have enough clothes to throw away. But there is something very therapeutic and very lovely about having an absolute session of just throwing away stuff.
Totally agree.
First couple of days, oh no, that's not true. The first couple of hours I spent sitting on the toilet in our ensuite, going through the bathroom cabinet and tipping out all the half empty bottles of shampoo, or half full, depending on how you look at it, into another bottle, and then throwing those away. And it's not throwing away, it's just decluttering. It's something very therapeutic and lovely about it. But then, I got into the kitchen and suddenly thought, why do I have 2 air fryers? And why do I have a soup maker that I've not? No, that went in the skip. It's just it is just
but
you
to me, I think somebody could use that.
I'm sure they could, but I don't have the patience to put it on Marketplace.
Yeah, but you don't need to. You just pick up the phone to me and go, Ange, do you know anybody who needs an air fryer or a soup maker?
I'll bring it all
and I would go, yes, I do. Hold on to it. I'll come pick it up. Because I feel there's so many people out there that have nothing, or can't afford an air fryer, or can't afford a soup maker, or can't. Do you know what I'm saying? And I would rather furnish them that, even if it's a second hand and Dave has to check the electrics on it. I'd rather furnish somebody than it go and skip, for example. But that's just me. I can't.
That's fine. I will put it all in a pile, and I'll ring you and bring it over. That won't be an issue.
It's funny though, isn't it? What you were saying about you can't be bothered to put it on Marketplace. I've been in exactly the same position. I know other people that have been in the same position where you're like, actually, I really don't want to advertise that, even if it's for free, or if it's £5, £10, whatever it is. But it's the hassle factor of dealing with people to try and give away your stuff or sell it cheaply. It's hassle.
You see, I would like a piano. The piano that we've got is done. It's had it. It's not. You can't repair it. The man said to me, "Ange, I can't repair this anymore. It's gone." Okay. So I need a new piano, because you can't play the piano down the other in the music room. So I said so Hannah went on whatever you're talking about, which I've never ever done, and I'm going to see one this afternoon, and it's free. And it actually somebody that we know, which is quite funny, really. But I just think, wow, they don't want it. They want to recycle it. They don't want any money for it. It's very generous, I think.
Which is lovely when you get people like you on the end of it. We've got a pile of patio slabs that are just the old style, odd shaped patio slabs.
Yeah.
We put them on for free. And the amount of people that went, will you deliver them? No, I'm giving them to you. I am not paying petrol to come and drop them off in Bridgewater. If you want them,
come and get them.
Come and get them. Are they still available? Yes. And then 2 weeks later, they message you and go, would you deliver? No, I'm not.
And that is absolutely the hassle of Facebook Marketplace. And because you're not on Facebook Marketplace, you probably have never seen it. But it is so much hassle. People message, is this still available? Yes. Then you never hear
from them.
Yeah. Why have you spent the time writing, is this still available? if you're not interested in it.
I just thought I'd poke you, make sure it is available,
That's
and then I'd
it.
just walk away again.
And then
Oh
walk
my
away.
God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I've had people, I'm selling a fire on Facebook Marketplace
What
at the
kind
minute.
of fire? Tell me.
Bioethanol fire.
Right, okay.
And
I don't
it
need one of
started, I think,
I don't know what that is.
that's part of the problem here. So people don't know what they are. But I think I bought
I
it for
do.
about £300, and I'm now selling it because I've got a proper log burner. And I think I've dropped the price down. I think I started selling it at, I don't know, £150. Now down to £100. I just want rid of it.
Yeah.
The number of people, can you deliver? No, I'm not delivering it. And then you get people saying, can you deliver it if I pay petrol money? Okay, fine. Are you local? No, I'm in Scotland. Absolutely not. And you just think, people,
that
and
is
then you get
funny.
people that go, does it plug into the wall? And the bioethanol fire doesn't plug into the wall. But people that ask these really stupid questions, and it's so, and it reminds me why I don't sell things on Facebook Marketplace.
It is
It's
ridiculous.
just hassle.
Yeah. In the end, we put the patio slabs up for 20 quid. And somebody went, I'll come and pick those up on Saturday. And we went, lovely, thank you very much.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
You can't give them away, but
No.
you can sell them.
But
Yeah,
that's
sell
what-
them for 20 quid.
Yeah.
And, we would have said, if he'd said to us, actually, do you know what? I really want them, but I don't have the money. We'd have gone, just have them.
Yeah,
It's
take-
really not a problem.
Yeah.
Just have them, but there's a really great site on Facebook, which I know you won't see, but it's like Hands of Change.
Yeah.
And it is designed for people that have items that they no longer want, that they just go, I want a shot of it. I'm not going to charge you anything for it. Please take it. And we've given away loads of things through that. We've got this lovely situation where, being a blended family, we have 2 houses in one. So my now husband, still weird, came from a furnished flat, and he moved in. And of course, there are things that he wants to bring that I look at and go, I've already got one of those. And he goes, yes, but it's mine.
This is mine, yeah.
This is mine. And I go, oh yeah, okay, we'll get rid of mine. So it's a lovely situation to be in. But we now have 2 houses in one house, which is why the skip is there, because it just needs to be sorted. And we have given away some really lovely things. And there's been like, when I had like the single room, is now my stepson's bedroom, or my son as I call him. Now it's my son's bedroom. He didn't want the curtains because they were pink and they weren't really suitable.
And he didn't want them?
He didn't want them, strangely enough. No, we now have a bedroom that has black and red walls, and pink curtains didn't go with it. And I put it on the Hands of Change, and it's a brilliant little system, and people on there are so
sweet.
Yeah. And it's like, I will actually, I think you've guilted me into putting some things on there. But yeah, it is a really nice system where people in Burnham and Highbridge, if they want things, they can go on there, have a look, or if they have things they don't want, they can just advertise them and people take them. It's a nice little system.
Brilliant.
And that's really probably really good. But when you're busy, it's also really difficult to give things away because people want to come and collect it. I'm working, or I'm not at home, or people arrange to come pick it up at 5 o'clock on a Thursday night and then don't turn up and go, oh, sorry, I'm running an hour late. And you're like, well, I don't want you coming to my house at
9 o'clock at night.
Exactly, that's it.
Yeah.
I know recently we cleared out my late grandmother's house, and there was some stuff that we were going to take to a charity shop. And I went to the charity shop and they didn't want it, which was fine. I also didn't want to put it on Facebook and have 100 people messaging me about these bits and pieces. So in the end, they went to the tip because it's criminal, really.
It's so sad.
This stuff gets thrown away, but
yeah,
just it's the hassle factor.
Yeah.
And you say that a friend of ours were emptying their mum's house, which is where I got the furniture from, because they had people that came in and were doing a house clearance. Stuff's beautiful. I mean, absolutely stunning. And the house clearance people are obviously just looking for a quick buck, really. These people were, and these, I mean, it's beautiful furniture, and it's like, why on earth would you throw that in a skip? It broke my heart even thinking about that. And like, the kids don't want it because it's not modern enough.
Yep.
It's like, okay, but I'm sure there's somebody out there. So it was me, and it's going in my new house, and that's it. You know, because we're leaving this here. All of this is staying here virtually, so I'm not going to take any of it with us because we're going to rent this house out. But it's like, I just feel it's such a shame when people want to actually get rid of stuff and then they just can't. But like, where do your guys that sell things get their stuff from?
Auctions, other markets, other fairs. Yeah, there's a really good trade market. So an awful lot of the trade come in early and buy things, and then auction houses. But you had like house clearance. People come in and take your stuff, and then they'll take what they want and put the rest of it in auction.
It's like me though. I buy second-hand glasses because I like a nice glass, like a water glass.
I thought you meant like
No.
glasses. I was thinking, that's an interesting.
No. I don't do it. I like I'll go to the local shop.
So not second-hand glasses,
Not just glasses. For some reason, you have
drinking glasses.
and I like them, and I never have matching on the table. It's always mismatched, whatever. But I like that. I think that's a nice look. It doesn't. Not everything has to be perfect, does it?
Yeah, my I always remember my grandfather used to drink out of a jam jar.
William does.
Yeah, drink
Doesn't
out of a jam jar.
He makes everybody else drink, and I hate it.
Yeah, but that hails back to my grandfather used to run coal mines,
Right.
and the men used to drink out of jam jars. Used to take their stuff
Because
down.
you could sit, yeah.
So it was his thing. He used to drink out of the jam jar. Yeah,
Great, isn't
remember
it?
that when I was a kid.
So where were you born and bred?
So I was born in Plymouth, but we lived in a little village called Flea in Cornwall. But my dad was in the Navy. So everybody, all the Navy wives used to have to go to, was it called Freedom Fields? Yeah, Freedom Fields in Plymouth and have their babies. So yeah.
Oh, really?
So my heart belongs to Cornwall, because when I go to Cornwall, Plaidy is literally just outside of Loo. My heart belongs in Cornwall. Loo is when I say to people I'm going home for a few days, I go to Loo. But yeah, I was actually born in Devon. Yeah, heart is a Cornwall girl.
So was that a special hospital?
No, it was just the normal Plymouth hospital.
Right, okay.
But because they're all based at Plymouth. Yeah, I was born in Plymouth. Yeah.
And so then, how did you end up this neck of the woods?
My dad left the Navy, and my mum and dad bought a house in Portishead. And eventually, when I was about 4, I think, they moved to Highbridge. And that was it. We've stayed there ever since. Well, I now live in Burnham. But yeah, we've just been there ever since. So my mum and dad separated when I was 9. And my dad eventually moved to Clevedon via Weston and another house. But mum and I have always stayed in Burnham. It's a nice little town, actually, Burnham. When I had my daughter, I lived in Bristol, and I separated from her dad. She was quite young. I think she was just over a year old when we separated. And I used to still come back to work in Burnham, and I used to take her to play school in Burnham, and we would spend Monday to Thursday here, and I would walk her down Barrow Road to the play school, and we would chat to everyone we saw. Everybody say good morning, or and we'd make this huge story about all the individual people, about where they were going and who they were, and then we'd tell the teacher at nursery all the people we'd seen and where they were going. And then we'd go back to Bristol on Thursday night, and I'd spend Friday, Saturday, Sunday back in Bristol, where you spoke to nobody. And it was a really weird lifestyle. So I said to her, that's it. I said to my mum, moving back. So I bought a house back in Burnham. And it's nice. I mean, it's the same as any town. It has its issues and it has its problems. But fundamentally, it's a nice little town. It does my kid well. My kid of 20. Yeah.
So she's not a little
She's
kid
not
anymore.
kid anymore. Thank you. Yeah.
That is an interesting scenario, isn't it? Because we had Oliver and Phoebe on Saturday, and we went to I went to Sainsbury's with Phoebe to do some shopping, and I say hello to everybody. They generally know me or know of me or whatever. Yeah. And she said, is there anybody you don't know, Granny? And I went, well, no, I don't know everybody. I said, but I always say good morning, because I always feel that I might be the only person, or good afternoon, I might be the only person that you speak to, that they speak to that day.
Yep.
And there was a chap pushing his trolley around Sainsbury's. And I actually, if I wasn't with Phoebe, I would have gone and said something to him. But he just looked so sad. You could feel the sadness that was coming from him. And I just thought, oh my gosh, you just look really sad. And I said good afternoon to him, and he smiled. But it was like, I just think if we all just spoke to everybody all the time, we'd have such a nicer environment to live in.
Do you know the comedian Troy Hawke? Okay, so Troy Hawke is, he set up this little thing that he does where he's the Greeters Guild. So he stands in a smoking jacket and he greets people when they walk into a shop, or he does the F1 paddock and he does the darts and he does all sorts of things. But his whole comedic gig is that he does this Greeters Guild. And we went to see him in Weston recently, and he said he doesn't do anything rude or saucy or anything like that. He just compliments people. And he says it's such a weird reaction from people because the general public don't know how to be complimented. Somebody says a compliment to you and the first thing you go is, oh, this old jumper, or, oh God, no, I look awful, or, because you don't know how to receive the compliment. And he said at the end of his show, he said, every single day, find one person, at least one person, and compliment them on something. He said, don't ask for something back. It's not about receiving, it's about giving. And it is that thing of the gentleman in the supermarket would probably have absolutely adored it. But it is, I bumped into somebody the other day and she had an old style sort of Pride and Prejudice type dress, but it just was beautiful. And I walked past her in the street and I said, that dress is awesome. And she went, oh, thank you very much. And I carried on walking and I said to Ant, has she done anything? And he went, no, she's just still staring at you. She still stood in the same place. And we just carried on walking. Yeah. But she still stood in the same place, just staring after you. And it is a lovely thing, actually, to compliment somebody on. There was a woman in Tesco's the other day who had 2 kids who must have been sort of 4 and 7. And the 4-year-old was just absolutely having a hissy fit. I mean, I don't know what it was that he wanted, but she was not giving it to him. And he was, I mean, it was, you could hear him the entire store. You could tell where they were because the nearer you got to them, it just became incoherent. You just had no clue what the hell he was screaming about, but you could hear him. And as I walked past, I just looked at her and went, you got it, you're fine. And she went, oh, thank God. And just carried on walking. And she came up to me in the queue afterwards and she said, thank you. And she said, I'm so sorry. She said, I'm so sorry. And I said, never apologize for your children. Never apologize. They are learning something. You are doing the right thing. Just stay strong. We all get it. We all understand. And she was like, oh, thank God. Thank you so much. And I was like, that's fine. But it is that thing, isn't it? Of giving somebody a boost or loving somebody without having to have something back. That old man probably would have absolutely loved the connection with you, no matter how fleeting.
You know, you touched on a couple of subjects there, which is acceptance and kindness.
Yeah.
You know, and also recognizing the other people's frame of reference, because very often people forget that they had a 4-year-old that probably screamed around the supermarket, or that could be your grandchild or your child or, you know, your best friend's child. It doesn't matter, does it?
No, and you never understand what the adult is going through with those children. I sat on the tube one day in London and there was a child that was climbing over the dad and kicking the woman in front, and it was just a really badly behaved child. And everybody was like really frowning and, you know, and the guy looked awful, looked absolutely just in a complete state of shock, just wasn't concentrating on what the kid was doing. And my friend who I was with, who went straight up and said to him, are you okay? Do you need any help? And he said, I'm so sorry. My wife has just died in a car crash, in an accident. And he said, we're going to the hospital. He said, I'm not really sure what I'm doing. So my friend then took over with the child and sat and got things out of her handbag and you know, entertained the child on the tube. But you never know, just because it's a badly behaved child, you never actually know what the adult with them is going through.
Absolutely. When we were in hospital with James, and it was just before we were going to tell the kids, I'm going to cry.
No, you're not.
I was trying to entertain the kids. I knew what was coming, and the kids were racing, in the corridor together, just having a bit of fun. I didn't want the connection before to be solemn. And this guy came up and had a go at them. I walked up, I said, excuse me, stop, please. And I sent kids off to do something. I said, they're just about to be told about their dad. His face. But you think people don't think, do they?
No,
Absolutely don't think.
it's always about how the behaviour affects them as an individual, not what the children are going through or what.
Or what that human being's going through.
Yeah.
And it's like being impatient with people. And I'm a reasonably patient person, but nobody knows what you're going through at that moment in time. They've not got a clue.
Yeah, it's a lesson I've really learnt of late, because my mum, I mean, you were at the wedding, so my mum is amazing. Don't get me wrong. I love my mum to pieces, but she's not very fit body wise. Mentally,
Sharp as a button.
she's terrible. Yeah, she put everybody in their place. She's a nightmare. But she finds so many normal things so difficult now to deal with. That thing you taught me many moons ago about the parent, adult, child, we've so completely swapped now that she is the child in so many ways. And I was really impatient with her to begin with. And I was like, oh, for God's sake, yes, if I have to. Oh my God, yes, all right. For God's sake, get on with it. But then the more time you spend with her, you suddenly think, oh yeah, okay, now I understand. And patience is one of the things that she probably will tell you I haven't got any patience, but I do.
Patience comes in many ways, isn't it? It comes in many forms. I mean, and you're a very kind person, Mike, and I think, and you're obviously had challenges in your own family in that sense, but I think yours comes through kindness. It doesn't matter whether you do something or you don't do something. I think sometimes that patience, or just actually challenging somebody in a sense that, not in a horrible way, but in a sense of saying, yeah, you can do that and I'll help you do it, or whatever it is. Or, it's not always it doesn't have to be you get walked over. You can still be assertive and you can still have all of those skills. But sometimes it's just about getting into that person's frame of reference, isn't it? And saying, actually, I can see the difficulties you're having. I'm not going to enable you to stay in those difficulties necessarily, but I will support you in whatever you require. I think that makes a huge difference. And I just think if society was a little bit more caring like that, we might have a nicer environment in which to live in and have better relationships with people.
Yeah. The older generation always go on about in their day, things were so much different. But I don't know, were they? I don't know. I think you lose a little bit of community because the people that you were brought up with, went to school with, all go to different places, and you all move around the country a lot more, or around the world a lot more. But I think we still have a huge sense of connection and right doing. Is that another word I've made up?
Yeah, I think you've made that phrase up, but it sounds all right. We can have that.
Yeah.
It's good. Right doing by people.
Right. Those communities have expanded.
I like making words up. Good.
They've you no longer have auntie, uncle, blah, blah, blah in the whole street. It just doesn't work like that anymore. So therefore you don't have that kind of family.
It's a different type of family, different type of communities.
Yeah. When I lived in Bristol, I made sure I knew all of my neighbours. I made sure I sort of knew quite a lot of people in the street. And Alex, which is my daughter's dad, he used to go out to work every morning, and he used to say to me when he came home, I saw my weather lady this morning. And I'd go, oh, okay, yeah, what did you talk about this morning? He always talked about the weather. She always said to him, oh, it's going to be a nice day today. You'll be all right at work. Because he's an electrician. He was always on building sites and things. And he used to say to her, oh, yeah, I saw my weather lady this morning. Oh, she complained about the rain and she, weather lady. And she's thinking, who on earth is this? And I remember just before we had Daisy, I never sort of did that nesting thing in the house because the house was pretty much up together, but we decided we were going to clean the car top to bottom. So he did the outside and I did the inside. I should have known Daisy was going to turn up at some point soon because we just suddenly blitzed the car. And as I was sitting there and I was cleaning the dashboard, Thurza, who lived up at A, because she'd never admit to anybody she lived in 13, wandered down the street and she said, "Oh, well, okay, how are you?" And she leaned in the car and we were chatting away. And he, oh no, he's not called Alex, suddenly came round the other side of the car and he went, "The lady." I said, "Who's this lady?" And it was really nice to suddenly, like, we'd both connected with the same person. But it was just purely because she lived in our road. And he used to say to me all the time, "How do you know all these people?" I go, "Well, they live in the same road as you. Why do you not know
But
all
that's
these
the
people?"
difference. You make the effort, don't you?
Yeah.
You
I talk to anybody and everybody. It's
Really?
a nightmare.
I think I was a bit like that in where I used to live. I've only just moved in the last couple of months, but where I used to live, I lived for 10 years and it was a new build estate. But when I first moved there, I think there was about 50 or 60 houses, getting on for 1,000 now that I've left. But right at the start,
You make it sound like they built all these houses because they suddenly went, "Yeah, he's gone."
over the last 10 years, they've built all these houses. I made quite a big effort to know as many people as possible and set up a Facebook group for everybody and tried to
Nice.
do as much as possible. But what I realized is that not everybody has the same desire for you to have that community feel. And some people, they take it for granted that you've organized a Christmas event.
Yeah.
And actually all they want to do is complain that Christmas event, you didn't serve the wine they wanted you to serve. There wasn't enough for the kids to do. Well, I don't have kids, so I don't know what you want to have at that event for kids. Why don't you put yourself forward and volunteer and do all of that? And it's funny how over those 10, 11 years, that community changed. And it's interesting to see now that when I put my house up for sale, lots of people who moved in at the same time as me have all done the same. They've all put their houses up for sale, or they've moved in the last year, or are going to move next year. And it's funny how I think communities change quite a lot over that time. And I don't know if that's because people themselves have changed, or if it's the influx of other houses that have been built and more people coming from different areas. The views have changed and it's less community now and more, well, that's just an area where people live. I think that's quite sad.
Yeah, but then also it's other people's personalities and other people's requirements in life that also decide how much. We have I live in a cul-de-sac now, and we're the first house in the road. Weirdly, we're number 6 because 2 and 4 around the corner. It's very weird. But we live at number 6. And I know the people that live in number 8, and I know the people that live in number 10. And the house opposite is number 1, and I know them. And I don't know the guy that lives in 3, but I know the couple that live in 5. And we all sort of chit-chat. But the woman in number 12, she's married, and they have 2 Labradors. So they have a chocolate and a black. And we have a yellow Labrador. And we quite often walk the same walk. We go to the dog park. We let them run around in the dog park. And the dogs will play and get to know each other. Every time I walk Jeff round the corner past their house, he goes mad because he knows that that's where they live. He can smell them. And Jeff and these 2 others just get on really well and they have a great playtime. But the two humans won't speak to me, won't acknowledge me.
That's so odd.
They won't speak to anybody in the street.
Yep.
I have stood in front of her in the queue at Tesco's and I've gone, "Oh, hello, lady at number 12. And she goes, "Yeah." And I go, "Lady at number 6. And she goes, "Yeah." Okay. End of conversation.
But you feel like you're the weird one by doing that.
And I'm like, okay, I'm just trying to say
But you
hi.
might be the weird one in their world.
Well, maybe.
We are the weird ones because we speak and they're not.
Maybe.
Because they don't.
I was like that in my road. My road was a road of 14 houses, I think it was. And I knew everybody on that road. And then I was 9. Number 5, I think it was, or was it 6? I can't remember. They sold quite early on, probably 3 years into everybody moving in. We all moved in pretty much the same year. And people that bought that house, you would drive past and they'd be there cutting their grass out the front, and you'd drive past and you'd stare at them. And they would almost turn away because they knew there was a car coming. I don't want to have to wave. I don't want to have to look at you or acknowledge you. And they were like that to everybody. And it's the weirdest thing. Like, just wave to your neighbour.
It's not weird for them, is it? And that's the thing. It's those life skills that we often forget that you've been given.
Yeah,
and you've been
maybe.
given, that you actually wouldn't, as a child, I remember my family never spoke to anybody. We lived up north and everybody spoke to everybody, but my father did not speak to anybody. He had no relationship with a neighbour, neither did my stepmother, none at all. It didn't occur. So
I just find it really
I think
odd.
sometimes it's those personal circumstances, aren't there?
Yeah, and I guess everybody's different, but yeah, just weird. But it's funny how you had the same thing with your neighbours.
Oh, and I'm sure she's lovely,
Yeah,
but she just has no
She probably
connection
thinks you're
with
the
anyone.
weirdo.
She probably thinks we are. Yeah, she
Yeah.
probably thinks the whole street's really weird.
yeah.
And but she still continues to
Do you
live
think-
there in a street of weirdos.
Do you send her Christmas cards?
Yeah.
And do you get one back?
No.
Wow.
No.
But you still try.
Yeah. Every year, okay, if anybody's watching now that's going to dob me in, don't. But every year, I go to Tesco's at Easter and I buy the little bunches of daffs. They're not daffs, are they? They're something else. But and they're like £1 a bunch. And I buy 20 bunches. And I put each house a bunch of daffs on their front doorstep.
So cute.
Just as a little, Happy Easter kind of thing. I never put my name on it. I never put number 12 always gets one. Always gets one. But I always put a little bunch of, flowers. I did it to you recently. But I never put my name on it and I never acknowledged that I've done it. One of my neighbours one day said to me, "Did you put the daffs on the doorstep?" They're not daffs. I can't think what they're called. And I went, "What are you on about?" And she went, "The daffs on the doorstep." And I went, "No, I got a bunch of those." And she went, "No, you didn't." And I went, "What do you mean, no, I didn't?" And she said, "You always put flowers on your windowsill in your kitchen." She said, "And there aren't any." And I went, "I put them in the lounge." And she went, "Go get them." And I went, "What?" And she went, "Go get them." And fortunately, I did have a bunch. I was like, "Look, there they are." And she went, "Oh, I thought it was you because you didn't have any." But yeah, I did just do it every year. I've done it for the last sort of 3 years. The only people that have ever worked out who it is are the people round the corner who've got CCTV.
They caught you on their camera.
They did the thing where they went back and had a look and who it was. But yeah, but I just think it's a lovely thing to do.
It is. It's nice.
Just a nice little, you're loved, you're appreciated. Have a bunch of flowers.
But it's that good deed every day, isn't it?
Yeah.
If you do a good deed every day, and that was something that I was taught, just one thing. It doesn't have to be a big deal. It can just be picking up the phone and saying, "How are you?"
Yeah.
Or, "Do you fancy this?" Or anything. Absolutely. Yeah. Saying good morning to people in the supermarket, greeting them.
Yeah.
I'd quite like to do that, I'd like to be a greeter.
He's awesome. Yeah. He's such a lovely guy. Yeah. Troy Hawke. But he just does it everywhere. Yeah. He's a lovely guy. He's obsessed with Scrabble as well. If you ever look into his background, he started doing this and then he says to everyone that he works for Jan Moby. No, not a clue. No. Okay, he was a footballer back in the day. And
she's a wealth of knowledge.
Yeah.
The only reason he is obsessed with Jan Moby because he started reading about him in the newspaper and he loved the fact that he had an odd surname. So he started getting obsessed with Jan Moby. And then he worked out that his name and Jan Moby have the same amount of word scores in Scrabble. And he's obsessed with Scrabble. And so
it's a bit sad, isn't it?
He is just an awesome comedian. You ought to watch him. But he just does nothing but compliment people in just everyday life. It's very interesting.
Watch some of his videos now. Sounds quite interesting. So Troy Hawke.
Yeah.
So if we said to you, because we can't keep you forever, even though we'd like to, if we said to you in a year's time, what would you like to be different in your life? Whether that's an achievement, whether it's a whatever.
No, I'm all good.
Was it an Argo?
Oh yeah, yeah. We are going to build our own house.
Are you? When are you going to do that?
Well, we have to sell the one that we have in Bridgewater, and then we can buy a plot of land, and then we're going to build our own house. We're going to hopefully build a container house. So so that hopefully that would be nearer progression. But that would be it.
Well, we'll get you on next year and ask you
how you no pressure or anything.
No.
Very grand designs. Yeah, no, that's the only thing. There's nothing really that in life that I would change. There is nothing in life I would change.
Good.
Got a new husband. That's always good. Yeah. I've got,
Helpful.
yeah, he's lovely. My daughter is Ace. She's 20 and she's a chef at the railway at Sanford, and she's awesome. She's just off to Thailand in January for a 3-week traveling holiday. So I'm really excited about that for her. Jensen, my son, is pretty cool. He comes to us every other weekend. He's just got to that sort of spotty teenage. Bless him. He's only 11, but he's really sort of. Well, you met him at the wedding. Most people sort of go, "What do you mean he's only 11?" He's like,
he's nearly as tall as me.
Yeah,
it's not hard. I know that.
But yeah, so he's really good. I'd like to spend a bit more time with him, but work is really good. Family's really good.
Good.
Yeah.
Well, thanks so much for coming on. It's been really good fun. And yeah, we'll get you on next year to
Definitely. See how the house is coming along. God, no pressure. Be fine.
It'll be brilliant. Thanks, Katie.
Sorry,
Thanks for
thank
coming
you.
on.